Welcome to God's Got This podcast. I'm your host, Dawson Muck. If you're a first-time listener, check out my first episode to hear the story about my injury that changed my life and has put me on this journey of being a quadriplegic. I hope y'all enjoy. Welcome back to another episode of God's Got This podcast. As we talked about on the last episode, we're starting this Let's Be Real segment of the podcast, where we kind of maybe we speak about our faith and our experiences in life and whatnot. And we said last week that it was going to be me, Cole, and Delaney, and Delaney's not here this week, so we quit smiling at me like that.
She bailed out on us.
Yeah, Delaney bailed at us.
That's what our...
Thanks, D. So we had to call in her replacement, my mom, Shannon.
Muck.
This is her.
She's in the house.
You've heard her voice. Now you see her face. Yeah, we called her in. Me and Cole were actually... It's actually our fault. Because we told Delaney we were going to be back at like 6:30ish.
Yeah, we were saying 6:30, 6:45. That's what we said. And it wasn't until like 7:15.
Yeah, well, we were out calling coyotes.
Yeah. That
never showed up. Yeah. This is third time.
We just kept ringing. Kept ringing.
If you're a coyote hunter out there and you know how to call them, please let us know in the comments how to do it, because we've been watching YouTube videos and everything, and they holler at us. They just don't come close enough to.
Yeah, let's just say in the past 2 weekends we're 0 for 3.
We are 0 for 3, but we did call in an alien.
Yeah, we called in. That alien was...
We got videos of it.
That was freaking insane.
I bet it'll be on social media, whatever it was. It like blew up. Did you see it, Mom?
No, but there's people already posting on social media.
Was it?
Oh, seriously? So people
I knew it.
So other people did see it.
I knew it. I knew they would.
It was insane. That was a crazy...
So it was a bright light or something.
Yes, and it was like coming at us.
Well, Cole's got a video in it, like...
I didn't get the best part of
it. Two lights come out of like the end of it, and they kind of like go in front of it a little bit, and then they like separate and go away, and then the big one slowly went away.
It like comes and it like blows up or spits out something, and then it like starts dissolving in thin air.
People's talking about it on social
media. Not Mom, Dad and Cole and Papa got videos of it.
But I couldn't get my phone out fast enough to get the very beginning. When Dawson was like, I was like, we were talking or something, and he's like, dude, look at that. So I turned around looking at the pasture. He's like, no, in the sky. It's just like a white light coming at us. Like
it was really bright where we were.
When we first saw it, it was like looking at one of these globes coming at us. It was crazy. I ain't never seen anything like that.
I've never seen anything like that either, but...
We're going to find out it was some kind of satellite or something.
Yeah. Did they say what it was?
No. I mean, not what I've seen so far. They're just like... There's some videos of it, and like, did anybody see that? Or, things like that. So, does anybody know what it is type thing?
Yeah, me shook.
Yeah, me too.
Not. Like, I was like... So, aliens exist.
Good thing you can't see your feet, Shannon. Thanks for not wearing shoes.
I got my dogs out.
I had to check the camera to see if you can see your feet, but you can't.
At my own house.
You had to walk outside on concrete to get over here.
Shoes at my house.
I know you don't. You're disgusting.
Okay, let's get off that subject.
Yeah, that's a whole other story.
Last time it was my gray hair you called out. Now you call my feet. So let's just move on.
You make it too easy. I tell you and Mimi that all the time. You make it too easy. Mm-hmm. But last week, I think it was Cole. Was it you that mentioned maybe the topic for this week?
Oh yeah, like it was just on accident.
But like being numb.
Like
we talked about we were raised in church, and so we've heard all the Bible stories and all that stuff, and so being raised in church can start
just become like really,
yeah,
really numb.
Yeah, I know I did.
Yeah.
I think I've talked about it. I know I have because I've had my dad and mom on here before, and my dad was a youth pastor my whole life, pretty much, from when I was in first grade, I think, until I graduated high school. So I was in the church all the time, and I never missed a service or anything like that. I mean, even when I played like travel baseball, I had to go to church before I could go play. If it was during church, I didn't get to play. So I was literally in church all the time. I heard all the stories, and I definitely became numb to the stories. And like, I think like and you just throw in your comment. You may have to cut us off because we'll just start talking. And but I think like it was easy, or it is easy to get numb to those stories because they seem like a fairy tale almost, like they're not real.
Yeah, it's like almost like
Noah's Ark, like
yeah, it's like a bedtime story almost. Like
the song like "Who built the ark? Noah, Noah." Who built the ark? Brother Noah built the ark. You sing them like when you're little, and that's as far as you ever.
You don't ever like look past
think
it, like,
about it.
Dig deep in it to being like an actual real thing.
Yeah.
And it just like it like bounces off of you.
I don't know if you had the same.
Well, I just had this I just wanted to talk about numbness really, to be honest, because it's like I feel like it's something that I feel like it's definitely like with people that are like, you don't have to be a preacher's kid or like a pastor's kid, but I feel like people that are raised in church, like everybody just assumes that like the Bible, and then like people, you don't want to look dumb if you like, you know what I'm saying, like if you don't, because then everybody like will look down, and like that kind of judgment. But like there's that, but the numbness of it, getting back to that, there's just I feel like there's a big. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a big numbness about it or whatever.
And Cole, like Dawson, Cole's dad is a pastor.
Yeah.
And so
we already told him that.
Oh, you have already told him that in the last
one. We did.
Okay. Well, I didn't know. I haven't seen.
Maybe if you would listen to your son's podcast.
It's not posted yet.
Yeah. Thanks, Dom.
yeah. It's not posted yet.
Thanks,
so
Dom.
I haven't seen it. But
Tech guy Dom works at AT&T Sulphur Store.
Yeah, it's open now.
It's open.
It's open. Go check them out. Go ahead, Shannon.
We're not sponsored by them yet, but we're working on it.
No, I think that's the numbness of it. I think sometimes as a kid, I was raised in church. I was not raised by, my dad was not a preacher or pastor or anything. My mom was a Sunday school teacher, but, and she pretty much, when I was younger, was the one taking us because my dad was a dairyman, had cows, milked cows, that kind of stuff. And so Mom took my brother and I, and I think that is so true. The stories and the it's like you said, it's kind of more like bedtime stories where we as parents sometimes we buy the little Bible books that we read to our kids at night that water it down to where they just get the main gist of the Bible stories. And then as parents, I don't think that we dig into it with our kids. Or I know we didn't as much because we relied, speaking from us, we relied on Wednesday nights and Sunday mornings and all of that. We were already studying and preparing to teach. And so we just kind of, we didn't spend the time really making for sure that those lessons were real life to our kids, I guess, is what I'm trying to say, because we were already preparing and trying to teach that to our youth, and they were in our youth. Yeah. And I can't imagine if you weren't in the ministry. I'm sure there's some parents out there that do try to sit and spend that time, to truly make the meaning of those Bible stories that we learn as kids. I'm sure they spend time, and kudos to them. But sometimes as Christians, we pray, we read our Bible with them, we tell our kids to read their Bibles, we read our Bibles, but we don't talk in depth about the reality of those Bible stories and how they apply to today.
Yeah.
And so we become numb because, like you said, it kind of seems fictional.
Mhm.
Yeah, it definitely does. It's like so fictional.
Yeah. I mean, like David and Goliath. Like Goliath was like what, 10 foot tall
yeah,
or
Well,
something.
he
I don't
was-
know.
Well, like if you
Don't
go
mark
in-
me on that,
well,
but
like
he
if
was
you go
like-
in, like
he wasn't
if you
like
dig
7
deeper
foot,
into
like
it,
a-
like it's a more realistic
Yeah.
height. But like whenever you're hearing about it, you're like
Yeah.
a giant. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
But I mean, it's like he's like a legit. I don't know. It was something. He was obviously a giant. He was like really big. But at that time, when you dig it, like it makes sense. It's not like he was just a 7-footer that no one ever seen a 7-footer, and he was some. But
Yeah,
he was
it
like a
says-
legit giant.
It says the oldest manuscripts from the Dead Sea Scrolls say that he was 6'9".
6'9".
Yeah. So, but I'm saying like in that time period,
You
like,
don't see
just
that.
don't. You didn't see that. You didn't
Yeah.
see 6'9".
So it's
So
not
he was-
like. I
Go
guess
ahead.
they make him seem like he was like 10 foot tall,
Yeah.
but he was really not average height. But
I mean,
now,
6'9" is 6'9".
I mean, yeah.
It
Now
ain't
you see,
nothing.
but I mean, you
It's
see a lot
tall.
of 7-footers in the NBA and stuff.
Yeah.
Now, or not a lot, but you see them.
Yeah.
So it's just like, I don't know. It's like I worded that wrong earlier when I said it's they make it seem like he was like 10 foot tall, and he wasn't. That's what I
but
meant to
when we
say.
teach it to
I'm
you
just
guys,
I'm just now catching that I got that backwards.
Well, but in our Sunday schools and our kids programs and all, we teach it to you guys I know like I've taught it to 2 and 3-year-olds, and I stood up on a big chair
Yeah.
and said, I mean, so to a kid, they probably were like, whoa, or I've even made the analogy of, oh, he was so tall that his head would go through our ceiling.
Yeah.
At the church or whatever, trying to let them know. But again, yes, David fought Goliath and won. But if we put it into today, we all have some battles that seem really, really huge.
Mhm.
Yes. Yeah.
And they seem like they're 10 feet taller. They'll never go away.
Right.
Yeah, and that's what it goes like. That's what the story, like the
Yes.
deeper meaning of the story is,
Mhm.
and that's like what we don't. That's what we don't hear. You hear the
Yeah.
fairy tale. No, it's not a fairy tale, but you like hear the fairy tale side of it. Like you're saying, how you taught young, and then we just brush past it. Like what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
That's it.
Like it's like, oh, you know the tale, like you know the story,
hmm
but like continue what you're saying. I was just saying.
Yeah, but that's those are huge. There's huge things like that in every one of our lives that are our Goliaths.
Yeah.
And it's not a 6'9" man, but it's, anywhere from cancer to, job to relationships to, there's it could just keep going on and on. That's our Goliath that we're fighting.
Yeah.
You know,
anything that's a mountain to you. Like,
Yeah,
to you,
that's
it.
however you
It's
see
different
it.
for everybody.
everybody,
and
yeah.
yes.
Yeah, it's good. This is
One of my-
this is-
One of my favorite. Wait, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, no, this is. I was gonna take it. It's David Goliath, but I learned this the other day. I watched this video, and it was talking about like David went down when he went to go face Goliath. He went down to the. Where did he go down? He went to a creek bed and picked out his stones, right?
Mhm.
And he picked out like how many did he end up picking up? Was it 4?
3 or 4.
3 or 4, something like that. 3 or 4. So, but like when it goes back to, he knew that God was going to take care of him.
Yeah.
He knew all he needed was just one stone. You know what I'm saying? Because he
Right.
had faith in God. But if you like dig deeper into it, you knew, like if you dig deep, Goliath had like 2 or 3 other brothers. Like you learn, I can't remember what the guy was saying.
Mm.
He said Goliath had 2 or 3 other brothers. So David was going down and picking up the amount of rocks for the amount of brothers Goliath had.
Huh? I didn't know that.
So that if Goliath, when he killed Goliath, just in case his brothers stepped up to face, you know what I'm saying,
Huh.
like to come at
Yeah,
him.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's like that's kind of insane, actually.
That is crazy.
Like that's whenever you get deeper into like the historical factor
Mhm.
of it, not necessarily like, or like the family order, whatever that heritage of. Instead of like
Yeah.
thinking of it as a Bible thing, thinking of it as like an actual family.
Yeah.
Like learning about Goliath's family and how many kids he had, and that equals out to how many stones he had. Like that's kind of crazy.
Hmm.
You never think about that.
Yeah, no, I did not know that.
I didn't either. I guess that's a fun fact.
Yeah, fun fact
There's that
there.
fun fact.
I've got some notes on my iPad here, which is new. I don't ever take notes, but I figured if we want to stay in like the 30-minute
Yeah.
realm where we're not rambling for 3 hours, then I'm gonna have. But my notes are kind of all over the place too, really. But I think another numbness, not just to like the Bible and its stories, but like another numbness that church people, that were raised in church and all this and grew up like their whole life they've been going to church, and is like other people outside of church. They've grown numb. Like we're like focused on I got to get right with God, and that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Like they're and people as in myself, like I'm including myself in it too. But I don't know how I'm trying to word it, but being numb as to like
Are you talking about like
other like
Christians
like
coming around to people that are non-Christians?
Yeah,
and
or just
pushing on them, and then they become numb to like listen.
or just like
Is that what you're saying?
people like, well, so what I've never watched Jesus Revolution. Have you seen that movie?
No,
It's great. Have you seen it, Mom?
Mm-hmm. I have.
It's so
very
good.
Is it?
And it's a true story about, I don't know when the time period was exactly, but it was during like the hippie days, like peace, love, and
Like
happiness.
during the Vietnam War era, I think.
Yeah, maybe.
Like, because I think that was when the
Yeah.
hippies were like.
Right,
big.
it is something, but it was when hippies were like big and they were doing like a bunch of drugs and stuff, like trying to find peace, like something that brings them to peace, and
Yeah.
and like teenagers and stuff like doing it. Well, there was like the movie was there's a preacher to like an old school church, and
Okay, I know what movie
he
you're
like
talking about.
the
now,
hippie
yeah.
like he was not for hippies, and then his daughter brings a hippie. She picks him up off the side of the street,
Yeah.
and she brings them to their house, and he meets them, and he lets them like come to their church, and then the hippies start coming, and
Because he's like a traditional
He's a
preacher.
Yes.
Like
old-time
he's for like you got to
traditional
dress
preacher.
right
Yeah.
when you come in, and yeah.
And
and
some of his congregation was not
Was
welcome.
not-
no,
Okay,
and they
yeah.
left.
Yeah.
They left his church because he allowed hippies to come in, and like they weren't allowed to have faith or a relationship with God like they were holding themselves to a higher standard than the hippies for no reason. They had no reason to think that they're better than so, and that's like, I mean, that's something that isn't. I mean, people think they're better than people.
Yeah.
I think I'm better than people. Like we all,
Yeah,
it's just a
everybody
natural
does it.
human.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
that's a thing. I think that is another numbness in the church as a Christian, is that
Like we don't even realize.
We don't
that we're
realize.
looking down on people.
you don't realize it.
Well, we don't. And that's like, I mean, just even, I mean, comments are made by people in your church of, that's my pew. That's where I
Yeah.
sit.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, you have somebody brand new come in and they sit down in that pew, and I have seen that. I mean, I've seen it, I've heard it, I've had people tell me, or in the ministry, we had someone say something to us when we were in youth ministry, told us that we should talk to some of our girls about how short their skirts were.
Mhm.
And we do, I mean, we did. We talked about modesty. We talked about, that kind of stuff. But one comment that Joey made to this person was, he said, yeah, I get what you're saying. He was like, and we do touch on that. He was like, but they're at church.
Yeah.
And he said, and I'm just going to throw it back to Genesis, when God created Adam and Eve, which were mom and dad,
Mm-hmm.
he didn't create the youth pastor first. He created Adam and Eve, and that was mom and dad, and that goes all the way back to, you know, it's got to start at home.
Yeah.
And youth pastors and pastors are there, yes, and we should guide, and should be some things within the church that is allowed and is not allowed. I get that, but the numbness that we get on just somebody sitting in our pew or wearing holy jeans or wearing too short of a skirt.
Yeah.
I mean, they're at church or
Yeah.
stinking
Yeah.
when they come.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, because maybe they don't have running water, and people will make comments. And I'm not going to sit here and say that I've not been one of those that have thought something, or because I would definitely be hypocritical if
Yeah,
I,
because
if I
thinking it is almost as worth as
it's worse as
saying
saying it.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's when I feel like, you know, that God just kind of slaps me, kind of like when we went to the prison.
Oh yeah,
Huge.
that'll.
I mean, that was a huge slap in my face.
That's an episode for
Yeah,
itself.
that might be like a
That may be next.
Oh my
Yeah,
that
gosh!
may be next.
Of just,
We might have to take the podcast to,
Yeah.
to the prison.
who am I? You know,
Yeah,
who am I to
exactly.
think that I'm any better? He loves them just as much as he loves me, and we do get numb, and we think that there's guidelines and checklists of what a Christian should look like and how they should dress and
Yeah.
how they should act, and
Yeah.
and I mean, and
You're
some of
working-
that,
you're working to
yes,
that, like,
but some people you've got to your church is going to die if people don't come in
Yeah.
that don't know God.
Yeah.
I mean,
Exactly.
if it's who's going to carry it on?
Yes. Well, like that's why we've gotten this. That's why we've gotten this. Which I mean, I try not to care what people think about me, but like as a general, how people look at Christians now is like so judgmental, and that's because of that numbness. Is be like you're saying, like to touch on what you're saying is that how we've just people come in thinking or used to like we were caring, we'd bring people in. Which I'm not saying there's not churches out there like that, but there's people out there that used to think that, and then they started coming to church and then getting ridiculed for little things that they're doing. I mean, why would you want to come? You're supposed to come to church and be loved and everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, not. Let me say, you're not supposed to be like loved and accepted for what you're doing, because there's things like, is that, you know what I'm saying?
Love the person, don't love the sin.
Don't love the sin. That's a great, yes, that's exactly what. But like, you need to come in there and feel like that you're at home, and people just destroy you. Like, if you're doing something, they like come at you hardcore, and then why would you want to come back? I mean,
Yeah.
like,
Well,
I wouldn't want to come back.
When they would, and if they would look in the mirror,
yeah, exactly. It goes
like
back
they've
to,
never messed up.
yeah, it goes back. I can't even remember that verse. I was gonna freaking spit a verse at you about the throw.
Throwing the stone.
No, not throwing the stone, but the picking the thing out of your eye.
Oh, the needle.
The needle, yeah. Like,
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I just went blank.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know that
Do you
one.
not know that one? I'll try to look it up, but you continue. I'll get it here in just a second.
Awkward silence.
Well, that's why we're all kind of looking at it
Yeah.
because I'm like, what?
Had to cut this short time.
Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun.
Well, you know, when you do that, needle in your eye, Bible verse.
It's pulling up Matthew about the camel. It's easier to go through.
Yeah.
Go through the eye of a needle than a rich man to go to
Yeah,
heaven.
that's what it keeps pulling up.
Why do you look at the speck of sawdust in your brother's eye and pay no attention to the plank in your own eye?
That's what it is.
Matthew 7:3-5.
Hmm.
It's
That's
just
what it
talking
is.
about like you said, look
Yeah.
in the mirror pretty much. Like,
Yeah.
if you're sitting there judging on somebody and you got you're doing way worse
Right.
things, like Like, you have
Yours
no-
just isn't as known.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yours is secret.
Yeah.
Yours
Yours is secret, yeah.
Yours is something, and that's something that I think we just.
Yeah.
And we talk like we say this like including ourselves. We're not
Oh
like,
yeah. Like we're
Oh,
not.
We're
like
not-
I
very
said-
much.
Yeah, definitely.
we're not calling you out and telling you you're the worst person on the
Yeah.
planet.
No.
It's just self checks that we all need.
Yeah, we're checking
Yeah.
ourselves by
Self-evaluation.
talking about. Like
Mhm.
we're trying to.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're talking about our own problems. You know what I mean? Like we're. Like,
Yeah.
Everybody's got this. Everybody has this problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anybody who
In
says
some
that
sort-
they
in
don't
some
do
way.
that, they need to get themselves checked.
Yeah.
Because
Uh huh.
everyone does it. Everybody judges. Everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You can't say that you don't. Like,
No,
you're,
yeah,
You're
right.
sitting there in your head. You're sitting there judging by anything. Yeah.
My thing on that is, that's something that used to get thrown out to us a lot, is that we're not supposed to be judgmental.
Yeah. and
But
that's
as
not
Christians,
what-
no, that's not what it really. If I love you, and as Christ loves me,
Mhm.
then I am supposed to go to you in a loving manner.
Yeah.
And not condemning
Mm-hmm.
you or putting you down or lashing you and striking out at you in a loving manner.
Yeah. Yeah.
You are like Christ, like you are to go to that person out of concern
Mm-hmm.
and that's hard because
Yeah.
when they are living,
Mm-hmm.
Well, because they're gonna come right back at you and be like, "Well,
Yes.
God said that you're supposed to love everyone. Why are you judging me?"
and you're judging
You're
me.
judging
and I've
me,
gotten that a lot.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
have.
what you're gonna hear from everybody, and then they're gonna get into a defensive argument because they don't want to be told that they're wrong.
Well,
they
that's-
don't want to. I don't want to be told that I'm
The
doing
ho-
a bad thing or.
The underlying factor of that is that when someone fires back at you like that, they know it's wrong.
They know, yeah.
They know that what they're
they
doing-
feel a certain thing. And,
Yeah.
and yeah,
Because really, I mean, you could just like walk off and right then when they fire back at you and just say, okay, and it's there in their head like, yeah,
yeah. They
I've
definitely
messed
would
up.
be
That's
thinking
why
about it.
I'm defensive. If they didn't know it was wrong, then they would be like, oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah,
Thank you for telling me.
if
I
they
didn't know I was doing
if
something
they had
wrong.
no idea that they were doing something wrong, they would be more like, "Oh, am I really?" Like,
Yeah.
Like more of
More of a
childlike-
thankful, like,
Yeah.
thank you for telling me because I had no idea what, when they know they've done something wrong, they get defensive immediately.
Yeah. And that's the thing now with like everybody, like that's become big in this world now.
Mhm.
Like everybody's became like so defensive about being judged, and
Mm-hmm.
they think that you're not godly if you don't love me the way I am. And for you to come here and judge me, you need to check yourself. And
Yeah.
it's like Christians now definitely Christians do out there, and they go freaking push it hard on them and judge them really, really hard.
Yeah.
And that's like, I don't think you should do that. I think you should do, like you said, love, like it should be a loving judgment. Like, and that's where we get a bad name for ourselves because we got people out there that are not doing it the right way.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, like, these people, like, if I'm not living the right way, then I'm going to hell. Like, I'm dying. And if if somebody isn't willing to come pull me out of that and help me be there, like, what kind of Christian are you? Are
Yeah.
you really a loving
Right.
Christian? Like, are you really, like, because that's what it is. Like, you're trying to save my life.
Yeah.
Like,
And that's like, that's kind of where it could be easy, or where it would be easy to cross that line of like, maybe being a little pushy with it is
Yeah.
because like,
you're so, like,
We know-
invested. Like,
you know what's going to happen if you don't
Yeah.
figure it out.
Yes.
And
I feel like
At any-
once it
I mean-
gets to that point, because like it said, I think it says, I don't know what verse it is, but it talks about not arguing with somebody, because then it leads to like when people are defensive about what they believe
Mhm.
and they don't want to be told that they're doing wrong, they get like really defensive and they start arguing,
yeah,
and like that's not what we're supposed to do. And I feel like once it gets to that point, you can't argue with somebody.
yeah,
Like you just kind of got to give it to God.
Yeah.
Like you can only do what you can do.
You can.
Like, and I don't know, like, I mean, if you think there's another way, but, like, I feel like I agree with what you're saying about you want them you're trying to
yeah,
save them. Like,
right.
it's almost like they're on a cliff and you're trying to,
You
like.
can get caught up in that quicker than
Yes.
you're judging harder and quicker than you thought you would just because it means something.
Yes, it means something
Mm.
to you. But for them, they don't see it that
Yeah.
way.
Right.
They just see as you coming at them, judging them hard, and it turns them off real fast. So, it's hard. And
Yeah.
especially in today's world, it's super
Mhm.
hard. Everybody, It's
you gotta soften everything up. Like,
oh yeah, you do.
people,
When you don't,
everyone gets their feelings hurt
Yeah.
too easy.
and I don't mean that, but a lot of, I've been told this numerous times by young people that it's just too easy to fall into the sin because everybody does it.
Yeah.
Everybody does it.
Everybody.
Yeah, I can't be different. I can't
Yeah,
be
I don't. I mean, I know I need to stand for what's right, but everybody does it. I mean, I've literally had young people tell me that. So I get that you say that I should stand, but how? Because everybody does it.
Yes.
And it's just so easy to fall into it. And no, not everybody does it.
No.
Not
No.
everybody. It's
Yeah.
because you're running with the wrong people
Well, there was-
and you're into the
Yeah.
wrong crowds.
That's the
There was-
biggest
and
thing.
you're into the
There was
wrong
thousands of 18 to 25-year-olds, I think that's the range, in Atlanta, Georgia this last week, at Passion. Have you heard of that?
I don't
It's like
think so.
it's like a big retreat for like college age kids.
Yeah,
And
Christian, like a Christian.
yeah, it's just a
like
big Christian, like Sadie Robertson.
Oh, okay.
and her husband were there, and like
yeah,
it's just a big conference.
I didn't know that's what it was called.
Yeah, it's called Passion, but like you can't. Not everybody does it. I mean, there's thousands of kids our age, or people our age. I
You're
guess they're
just
not
in
kids.
the wrong spots.
Yeah, you're just
you're not going to the right place.
You're with the
Going
wrong
roughly-
people.
Yeah, that
and
me
I'm
was-
sure even at this Passion, just like at a church.
Well, yeah.
Or a whatever. Not everybody sitting in those pews are completely sold out Christians.
Yeah.
Oh, no, yeah.
You know, not everyone, but
That's what the
they're
church is
there.
for.
The church is there
Yeah.
to heal. It's
Yeah.
the healer.
If we were all perfect, there would be no
Yes.
reason for church.
Oh
That's
yeah,
right.
if they were,
You
yeah.
would just get
exactly.
perfect, and then you would die, and
You
then
would
you would.
die, and you'd be done.
Yeah, that'd be it.
Like it's a freaking battle every day. Like
Mhm.
there's
Oh, yeah.
every minute there's a chance that you could the devil. You know what I'm saying? The devil's always trying to get you.
Yeah,
Like
How many
so-
times have I sat in a sermon and I'm like, oh, I think maybe the preacher knew what I was dealing with this week.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I
Exactly.
mean?
Right.
I'm-
Yeah, yeah.
And if your toes aren't getting stepped on, even if you're a Christian, your toes aren't getting stepped on, then you're lying to yourself.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
not truly listening. You're not
Yeah.
there for
That's
the,
it.
And that's
Yeah.
almost
the right
like that. And
reasons.
going off that, it's almost like a sense of numbness. Like you're
Yeah.
not checking your own self.
yeah,
And you're not listening to what the preacher's saying. Like, cause I do that a lot. Like
Yeah.
I'll just like zone out. Like, cause I'm thinking about other things like job, like what to do in my job, like what to do in my life and stuff like that. And I just get I don't need to really hear this sermon, you know, because it's something maybe I'm not dealing with at that time,
yeah,
or like I don't feel like I need to be involved in that. And like I get super like that happens to me all the time, because like I'm like it's almost like, oh, I'm better than this sermon,
Uh-huh.
and like I definitely need to be like better at not doing that, because each sermon there should be something that you should be getting out of it, like at least one thing you should be trying to. And
Mhm.
You can get really numb for that.
Yeah.
That was kind of off subject, but
No,
Oh,
it's talking
oh.
about numbness.
yeah,
Mhm.
well, I guess that's true.
yeah.
Alright,
Well,
man.
I think I got something in my eye, and I was trying to itch it.
Got that plank.
Anyways,
Plank in that.
I've got. Does that show what time?
30, yeah, it says 33 minutes.
Yeah, so we need to reel it
Yeah,
on
probably
home.
the next 5 minutes we need, or
Um,
like 2 or 3, whatever.
Cole made the. Well, actually, before that, I've got some stuff that I do my. I'm going through like well, never mind. That doesn't have anything to do with this, but some stuff I've found on like some quotes and stuff that I found on TikTok, Twitter, all those I like. I'm a social media guy. I'm on them, and I just found some quotes that I was gonna try to tie in to this, but I didn't at all actually. But like I saw a TikToker, Kirk Cousins, and he was going. I don't know what he was getting interviewed or whatever, and he he said the phrase that there's a difference in being a fan of Jesus and being a follower. And I think that is something that rings true like no other.
Especially
you
in
look
today's
on-
society.
You look on social media and like 3 or 4 out of 10 have a Bible verse in their bio, and then you look at their last 3 posts and it's like,
Yeah,
what?
it's got like God followers,
Yeah.
and then it's got a cross or
I think you
just anything.
like I think you forgot to take that out of your bio.
Yeah.
But
Well, like now it's the good thing and cool thing to say you're a Christian, but on Saturday I'll see you at a bar.
yeah,
We're numb to Scripture.
hmm
Yes.
We're numb to the Bible.
yeah.
Yeah.
We don't dig in.
Good way to
Don't
tie
dig
that
in.
in, Shane.
Yeah.
We
that
don't
was-
dig
yeah.
in.
That's a whole
Yeah.
nother one too.
Yeah.
I may have to bring that quote back up again.
Yeah, you're definitely. Gonna
We
have to
could-
bring-
we could
yeah.
go on
We
about
could go
that
on,
one
yeah,
for
that
sure.
would be-
Because
Yes.
I know I was that. I mean, in like little ways, obviously, I still am, but like the big picture of like, yeah, I was out partying and stuff, and we've had those conversations like, while I've been severely intoxicated. Like, yeah, I'm a Christian,
Yeah.
and I know you're just sitting there like, you're such an idiot.
Yeah.
You know, like, you don't get it. You don't get it, and there's a lot of people that just don't get it.
You
They
don't. You
think-
don't get it until you get it.
Until you do.
And I hate to say, like, before it's too late, it's either something bad happened, like
Yeah.
something happens.
Well,
that where
I mean, it
like,
had to take.
like you're a great example.
Yeah.
Like you didn't get it. You like he was on you, and then something horrible happened.
Yeah.
But it turned into a great thing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But like there was a lot of times we've talked about like certain times where you're like, man, God's checked you.
Yeah.
And it was things where like if you would have figured it out sooner, not saying none of this would not happen.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But if you would have figured it out sooner, you would have been actually a follower, like a better Christian before all this
Right.
happened. Like you would have figured it out way back then.
Well, I wouldn't have been scared when I took what I thought was my last breath on the
Exactly.
field. Like I would have been.
You would have been more at
That's
peace.
all right.
Like,
Yeah.
hey, this is what
I wouldn't have been
like,
scared to death.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think that's well, that'll be brought up again in
yeah,
another
yeah.
episode.
Well, that's a whole different.
Because
episode.
we'll be here for another hour. And then another one. I don't remember where I saw this. I guess probably Facebook or something. But the church cannot be the salt of the earth if we keep sugarcoating the gospel.
Yeah,
And that's
that goes back to
that could
us
be a whole
being
nother
soft.
episode.
Or what was it? Was it we're getting? Was it you that said soft?
Yeah.
We're
Yeah,
getting
I say soft a lot.
Yeah. Well, like we are, like,
Mhm.
and like a lot of Christians. I was watching a podcast about this guy who's not a Christian, and he was like, the problem with Christianity is that pretty much like the church is getting soft. We're like, we got pride flags sitting outside the church buildings. Like the backbone of the Christian faith and all that stuff is breaking down heavily.
Yeah.
Like
Well, we're taking the scriptures and we're making it fit how we want
yes,
it
Mhm.
yeah.
in our life. We're not
Yeah.
fitting
We're sugarcoating
our
it.
life to
Yeah,
the scriptures.
We're sugarcoating it
picking
because
and
we have to.
choosing which one
We should
wanna
feel
go by,
because
yeah.
we should feel sorry for telling you exactly what the Bible says because it hurts your feelings.
Yeah.
Like, sorry.
I'm
mean-
just going to tell you how the truth is.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That's good stuff.
Bible's the truth.
That's good stuff. Well, Shannon, Cole we talked about last week about like New Year's resolutions type deals, and we talked about Cole challenged us to we challenged
them to what was it?
crap.
I forgot what we challenged.
Well, to like find a resolution type deal. I don't like that.
Yeah, like
I don't really care for that word, but to find something that
Find something they wanted to change in
to
the new
grow
year,
spiritually
whatever,
and-
yeah, and put it in the comments.
because I told him about how you got the word.
I do. Yeah.
They actually talked about. I watched the Duck Call Room podcast, and they talked about that too, like the word, finding a word. Because they were like, yeah, now the new thing is finding a word,
Yeah,
and I didn't realize it was like a big thing. Like
that's
a
kind
lot of people do it.
That's kind of crazy because you just came up with that pretty much. Like I'm saying, like you can't, like you were like, hey, let's do this. Let's
Yeah,
just find a word.
yeah, but I didn't realize it was like. I guess that's like the new trend is not finding a.
I read it in some Bible study like 3 or 4 years ago.
I just said you brought it up.
I challenged my kids to find their word, not a resolution, but a word, and
that they like wanted to introduce into your life or
to
whatever.
Instill in that whole year.
Yes.
And yep.
Wake up. So we did.
So,
so then he challenged.
Our challenge was we have to find
18.
like a fact or something that we didn't know about the Bible or about a character in the Bible, just something in the Bible or whatever. And so
that we didn't know.
And so, and I don't know if you have a fun fact since you're on the podcast today. You have something that maybe like.
Yeah, we didn't have enough time to tell you to try to find something because we were.
This was
we literally walked in the door. We walked in the door and said, "Come on, Shannon."
It's kind of weird that you say that though, because I started on January 1st. It's called Bible Recap, and it's like going through the Bible in a year. But I've gone through the Bible in a year numerous times. I'm 49. I wish I could say I've gone through the Bible 49 times or at least 40. But
that would be impossible, Shannon.
I know.
You couldn't read it.
I know, but at least,
try,
30. At least
Good
30.
Try.
But I have read through the Bible a couple of different times.
I can't say anything. I can barely get out of Genesis sometimes.
Well, but I will say this. The Bible recap that I'm doing, it asks you, those 5 prayers that you pray before you read those scriptures. And it's let me see something that I've never seen before. I'm paraphrasing, but that is right now I'm in Job. And, this going back to the Bible stories of Job when you're younger, my thought was, I knew Job kind of got a little just kill me, type thing, woe is me. But he never really faltered from God, but he really kind of did. You know what I mean? He really kind of questioned, but he got right back on track. And a fun Bible fact for me, just reading, and I'm just a little bit into Job, I think on chapter 13, but is how Job, just pure honesty, that Job was with God. And I don't know, I just think I always looked at Job as I'm just a God follower, and I'm going to keep following even though I've taken everything. You've taken everything from me. The friends have tried to get me to turn from you. I'm not turning, that kind of thing. But, he had some real honest conversations with God, just really crying out to him. And that was kind of something I guess I've never really picked up on.
Yeah. I like that. She dug way deeper than what I just gotta.
Yeah, I'm telling you, the Bible recap is really neat because Tara-Leigh Cobble. No, it does, and Tara-Leigh Cobble's the one that's done it, and so she has like a video at the end that she comes back and says, "Give me your God spot." I think is the word that she uses. Yeah. And so, what did you find? Here's what I found out of this, but what did you find?
It makes you actually
No,
I
really like it.
I do the Bible Project in a year. And it's like they make videos. Mm-hmm. They're a nonprofit ministry. And they do like videos that explain each book of the Bible. And then they do like really kind of key events of the Bible and just really like the whole Bible. But they make these like cartoon videos. Not really cartoons because that sounds like it's for kids. But it's like they just further explain. And so they have a Bible in a year where they tie those videos in with like that part of the Bible that you're reading and stuff.
Yeah. Are they like black and white drawings?
No.
Like they draw it as they...
They do, yeah, some, but it's not black and white, Shannon. It's 2024.
No. What I mean, I know that... that mine does too. Mine like draws out and tells you...
But mine's cooler, so go ahead, Cole.
Okay.
Whatever. Say yours.
It's just
what I do is cooler.
The same.
The cool people do what I do. The old people do what Shannon does.
Hey, you do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
Mine is, I found the Bible's most married man. And it says that it was King Solomon. And he said he had 700 wives and 300 concubines.
What?
Yeah.
What's a concubine?
I don't
or
know.
concubine or
It's
like a partner.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that, like,
Oh.
yeah. Yeah, you're like, oh, yeah, it's like a little
side piece.
Okay.
Come on, Solomon. I see. Wow, that's 800.
Solomon got that talking.
It's like 800 women. Is that what you said?
700 wives, 300 concubines. That's insane. Like, I'm not.
Wow.
Like, that is crazy.
That's pretty cool. Sounds like Dallas.
It does sound like Dallas. Maybe we can't say that anymore. Dallas
Yeah,
got a
Dallas is
girlfriend.
booed up now. Never mind.
Yeah, he's starting his first wife. I don't know how many concubines he's had.
Oh my gosh, you guys.
We're just kidding.
Messes.
We're teasing.
That's something crazy. I'll say it real fast because we got to end it. But that's something crazy about that I never realized. Another thing is how many, like, you hear these relevant names like David, Solomon, all these guys that you're like, oh, they're holy and all that stuff. But a lot of them sinned, like having multiple wives, incest, like all that stuff.
Struggles.
All of them.
All them struggles, like you
Pretty
don't
much
realize.
all of them did.
Yeah,
like all of them did something wrong.
Yes.
Like they weren't just like
Yes.
they were no. That's something to. Yeah, I'll bring this up real
I
quick.
know, yeah.
That's something like when you're being taught. It's like, oh, well, David, for instance, or like Noah was just made to do this, and that was the only thing he was made. Like he
Yeah.
was they were real human. They
Yeah.
had the same choice that we get to make every day. Like, do I follow what God has in store for me, or do I do what I want to do? Or,
Yeah. Just a
but like
different
they
time
were
period,
given the
that's it.
same decisions we were given. They just decided to be a hero of the faith, and like you just don't
Yeah,
don't
do what
realize
God
that.
wanted, yeah.
And then you also don't realize their one little story they also had, which back then they lived to be like 700, 800
Yeah,
years old.
yeah.
So they had like 600 years of rebellion and
Mhm.
being an idiot.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, that was quick. 18. Go to sleep.
That's a nice fact.
Yeah, that was my fact.
18.
18 on the Bible, 18.
Nice.
But mine was just like a fact too from I think this was in one of the videos actually. Like these are how the videos are.
Oh, the project. Or
yeah,
whatever?
Bible
Okay,
Project, the
Bible.
one that cool kids do.
Yeah.
Not
Not the
the old
older
people
Not
one.
the, old,
generation.
Yeah.
not the old people.
Yeah. But this one, there's 10 commandments, but there's 613 commands given to ancient Israel in the first 5 books of the Bible. And I've started the Bible in a year like 5 times and get to like Genesis and then veer off out of Genesis, but I'm in Deuteronomy.
Yeah.
And like I feel like that's all I've read for so far is just this is what you should do.
Yeah. I got what
You
you're
know,
saying.
Now I did
commands.
not realize there was
So
613 of them.
Yeah.
Just the 10 were the most important.
Those are I guess the most basic and important. Or I guess that would.
Well, and they're kind of the ones that still are relatable.
Yeah, like
now
they're,
and like
they're the
this
most
day, 'cause
relatable
there's
out
like
of
stuff
each
like
time period.
a bunch
Yeah.
of them are like when you touch something unholy, then you sacrifice a lamb. Like we don't sacrifice
Yeah.
stuff anymore.
Yeah.
It's
So-
from the old.
The
So
one
it's-
that
so
those
it's
are
like,
the
yeah,
most
it's Old
relatable
Testament stuff.
tens of the years. Yeah,
So
that's pretty cool.
there you go. Well,
I like
do we
that.
have a topic for next week?
I don't know if we do.
Can you
yet
think
or
of
not.
one, Shannon? Well, if not, we'll get one. I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean we can.
We
figure
thought
it
well,
out.
we could have rabbit holed about 6 things we
Yeah,
brought up
we
today.
brought up a lot of
Into
things.
into their
We're
own.
going with
So
numbness. And
Yeah. So, well, thank you all for listening. Cole, thanks for coming down again.
Yeah, for sure.
Shannon, thanks for last minute coming over here with no shoes on.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Anytime.
And thanks for putting some pants on instead of shorts.
Yeah.
No one gets to see her shorts because that's only at home.
Yeah. Yeah, if you want to see Mama Muck in shorts,
Come on over.
come to the Muck household.
So, we'll see you next week. Thank y'all for listening.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening to this episode. If you have questions, ask them in the comments and I will answer them on the next episode. If you are wanting to reach me for a speaking engagement, you can reach out through either the God's Got This Facebook page or my email that is in the podcast description. Thanks again, and remember that no matter what you are going through in life, you can always find peace in the fact that God's got this.